The mind-blowing secret behind the numbers 3, 6, and 9 finally revealed. Nikola Tesla did countless mysterious experiments, but he was a whole other mystery on his own. Almost all genius minds have a certain obsession. Nikola Tesla had a pretty big one. Tesla had some interesting habits that he would do. For example, he would walk around the block repeatedly 3 times before entering a building. He would clean his plates with 18 napkins. He lived in hotel rooms only with the number divisible by 3. He would make calculations about things in his immediate environment to make sure the result is divisible by 3. He would do everything in sets of 3. Some say he had OCD, and others say he was very superstitious. However, the truth is a lot deeper. If you knew the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, you would have the keys to the universe. Nikola Tesla. His obsession was not simply with numbers, but especially these numbers, 3, 6, and 9. Tesla claimed that these numbers were extremely important, and nobody listened. But why these numbers? What did Nikola Tesla try to make the world understand? First, we must understand that we did not create math, we discovered it. It's the universal language and law. No matter where you are in the universe, 1 plus 2 will always equal to 3. Everything in the universe obeys this law. There are patterns that naturally occur in the universe, patterns that we've discovered in life, galaxies, star formations, evolution, and almost all natural systems. Some of these patterns are the golden ratio and sacred geometry. One really important system that nature seems to obey is the power of 2 binary system, in which the patterns start from 1 and continues doubling the numbers. Cells and embryos develop following this sacred pattern: 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, etc. Some call these patterns the blueprint of God. Math by this analogy would be God's thumbprint, leaving all religion aside. In vortex math, the science of torus anatomy, there is a pattern that repeats itself: 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, and 5, and so on. As you can see, 3, 6, and 9 are not in this pattern. Scientist Marco Rodin believes these numbers represent a vector from the 3rd and 4th dimension, which he calls a flux field. This field is supposed to be a higher dimensional energy that influences the energy circuit of the other 6 points. Randy Powell, a student of Marco Rodin, says that this is the secret key to free energy, something we all know Tesla mastered. Let me explain. Let's start from 1. Doubled it is 2. 2 doubled it is 4. 4 doubled is 8. 8 doubled is 16, which means 1 plus 6, that equals to 7. 16 doubled is 32, resulting in 3 plus 2 equals 5. You can do 7 doubled if you want, to which you would get 14, resulting in 5. 32 doubled is 64, resulting in total of 1. So if we continue, we will keep following the same pattern: 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, etc. over and over. As you can see, there is no mention of 3, 6, and 9. It's like they are beyond this pattern, free from it. However, there is something strange once you start doubling them. 3 doubled is 6. 6 doubled is 12, which would result in 3. Add 1 and 2 and you get 3. In this pattern, there is no mention of 9. It's like 9 is beyond, completely free from both patterns. But if you start doubling 9, it will always result in 9. This is called the symbol of enlightenment. If we go to the Great Pyramid of Giza, not only are there 3 larger pyramids at Giza, all side by side, mirroring the positions of the stars in Orion's belt, but we also see a group of 3 smaller pyramids immediately away from the 3 larger pyramids. We find lots of evidence that nature uses 3-fold and 6-fold symmetry. These shapes are in nature, and the ancients emulated these shapes in the building of their sacred architecture. Is it possible that Tesla uncovered this profound secret and used this knowledge to push the boundaries of science and technology? The magnificence of the number 9. Let's say there are 2 opposites. Call them white and black if you want to. They are like the north and south poles of a magnet. One side is 1, 2, and 4. The other side is 8, 7, and 5. Just like electricity, everything in the universe is a stream between these 2 polar sides, like a swinging pendulum. And if you could imagine the movement, it's something like the symbol for infinity. However, these 2 sides are governed by 3 and 6. 3 governs 1, 2, and 4, while 6 governs 8, 7, and 5. And if you look at the pattern closely, it gets even more mind-boggling. 1 and 2 equals 3. 2 and 4 equals 6. 4 and 8 equals 3. 8 and 7 equals 6. 7 and 5 equals 3. 5 and 1 equals 6. And 1 and 2 equals 3. The same pattern on a higher scale is actually 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6. But even these 2 sides, 3 and 6, are governed by 9, which shows something spectacular. Looking closely at the pattern of 3 and 6, you realize that 3 and 6 equals 9. 6 and 3 equals 9. All the numbers together equal 9, both ways, excluding and including 3 and 6. So 9 means the unity of the both sides. 9 is the universe itself, the vibration, the energy, and the frequency. 3, 6, and 9. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla. There is a deeper philosophical truth in this. Just imagine what we could accomplish if we could apply this sacred knowledge in everyday science. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it'll make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. Nikola Tesla.
Mathematics or numbers is the cradle of all creations. Without this, the world cannot move even an inch. Every human being, like nurse or a farmer, a carpenter, a mechanic, a shopkeeper or a doctor, an engineer or a scientist, a musician or a magician, an electrician or a fisherman, a cook or a driver, everyone needs mathematics in their day-to-day life. Even animals, plants, and insects has the golden ratio, the geometrical pattern. They use mathematics in their everyday life for existence. But did you know that you can find the secret of the universe by just using mathematics? I want to start with a very basic concept, the vortex-based mathematics, from the root word vortex. Vortex is a region in a fluid in which the flow rotates around an axis line, which may be straight or curve. You can see the vortex pattern in all, like in your blood, nature and even in the universe. Marco Rodin, his original claim was he had tapped into, and he can model mathematically, a previously unobserved invisible energy. It is the initial impulse positive force behind creation. This energy is characterized by its linearity. In vortex math, everything adds to 9, 6, and 3. Polarized everything. In 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, and 5, describe the physical world. Therefore the 3, 6, and 9 are not physical, but govern the physical world at the quantum level. The example is sound. Sound release frequencies or vibration. Understanding that all living things are vibrational, meaning it is the control and standard upon which all creation is based. Here is the example of symbol. I know some of you are familiar. Marco himself refers to it as a symbol of enlightenment. I know some of secret societies have deep knowledge about this. They use the geometrical pattern to govern the world. This is the mathematical decryption of the universe. Around the circle, we see all the numbers. We start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. What I am going to show you here, if you add those numbers back together, reveals an underlying pattern or infinite series, underneath any bigger number that you can find. Like in nature, nature is pattern. This is the way you can create all the pattern, and you can model a higher dimensional energy. We're going into clockwise direction, around the circle. Let's start with 1. We draw a straight line connecting to the next number, which is 2. This is called doubling. 1 if it's doubled is equals to 2. 2 if it's doubled, and we follow the line again, it becomes 4. 4 if we double again, becomes 8. 8 is doubled again, it becomes 16. If we add 1 and 6 together, we get 7. Let's just follow the underlying pattern. So, 16 doubled is 32, then again 3 plus 2 equals 5. We can also double the 7, 7 plus 7 equals 14, 1 plus 4 is gonna be 5. Let's stick and go back to 32, so 32 doubled is 64. Bring me back up here into 1, 6 plus 4 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. 64 doubled is 128. 8 plus 2 is 10, 10 plus 1 is 11, 1 plus 1 equals 2. 128 is doubled is 256. Again 2 plus 5 equals 7, 7 plus 6 equals 13, then 1 plus 3 is 4. By continuing, 256 doubled is 512, again reducing back to 8. 512 doubled is 1024, reduces back to 7. 1024 doubled is 2048, which reduces back to 5. No matter how many times you go around, there's no possible way to break this infinity sequence. It always go back to start and no ending. All the numbers are equally important, but the 9 is really the king or the queen of the system. It is the control of everything else. So what happened if you double the 9? 9 doubled becomes 18. 18 doubled is 36. 36 doubled is 72. So if you add those numbers, 18, 36 and 72, they always equal the 9. What about if I half 9? Half 9 is about 4.5, which is equals 9. Half to 4.5 is 2.25, which also equals 9. No matter what I doubled or halfen, the 9 is never changing. It's forming an axis and polarizing all the numbers. Because in this system, we're actually able to give polarity. Look at those 6 and 3. Let's find out what happens with these numbers if we get into the mathematical functions. 3 double becomes 6, 6 double then becomes 12, and 1 plus 2 is 3. 12 doubled becomes 24, 2 plus 4 is 6, 24 doubled is 48, 4 plus 8 is 12, 1 plus 2 is 3, 48 double is 96, which comes back to 6, right? Halving would be the same. Half of 6 is 3, half of 3 is 1.5, which comes back to 6. No matter which way you do, halving or doubling, 3 and 6 are oscillating back and forth. None of those numbers can do this, only 3 and 6, just like magnetic fields or duality. You might ask me, why is that significant? Well, because this is how vibration and motion occurs. Energy always moves and can't be destroyed. This is why universe always moving, but it's never actually going anywhere. Number 9 is the highest energy, because it is the answer or source of all motion and all vibration.
An introduction to the rod and coil, and vortex-based mathematics. With the introduction of vortex-based mathematics, you will be able to see how energy is expressing itself mathematically. This math has no anomalies, and shows the dimensional shape and function of the universe as being a toroid, or donut-shaped black hole. This is the template for the universe, and it is all within our base 10 decimal system. Numbers are real and alive, not merely symbols for other things. You will discover that the relationships between numbers are not random or man-made, but that numbers are actually elementary particles, of which everything is composed. This lost knowledge was known to our ancients, and is now being uncovered for us today. Gradually you will come to see that numbers, in a simple, yet profoundly perfect, three-dimensional matrix grid pattern that forms the shape of a torus. As you begin to glide through this explanation of Marco Rodin's fantastic discoveries, please understand that you must set aside many commonly held belief systems of the way the world works in order to fully comprehend the completely new truths that are embodied in this discovery. This math truly explains everything that ever was, is, and ever will be in the universe, perfectly with no emissions. As Russell Blake, senior researcher from Microsoft, has said of Marco's work, this fantastic coherence has existed since the beginning of time, but yet to be harnessed by mankind, and the potential is truly mind-boggling. Mathematics as we know it today is only a tool to symbolize quantities. It simply and shamelessly helps the greedy king count his coins. Vortex-based mathematics is completely different because it is a dynamic math that shows the relationships and thus the qualities of the numbers rather than the quantities. Within vortex-based mathematics, numbers are not symbols that stand for something else. Numbers are real and alive. But what exactly does that mean, you ask? Well, Marco Rodin's final conclusion was that all intelligence comes from a person's name. This led him to understand that not only our personal names and the language they are spoken in highly affect our personalities, but that the most important names are the names of God. This led Marco into a journey of thoroughly studying all the world's great religions. When he was introduced to the Baha'i faith, he immediately became a believer. Literally days later, Marco decided to take the most great name of Baha'u'llah, prophet of the Baha'i faith, which is the Abba, and convert into numbers. He did this in an effort to discover the true, precise, mystical intonation of the most great name of God, since the Baha'i sacred scripture was originally written in Persian and Arabic. Marco used the Abjad numerical notation system for this letter-to-number translation. What Marco discovered was that A equals 1, B equals 2, H equals 5, A equals 1, add all the numbers together, and you get 9. The fact that the most great name of God equaled 9 seemed very important to him, as everything he had read in both the Baha'i scriptures and other religion texts spoke of 9 being the omnipotent number. So next he drew out a circle with a 9 at the top and 1 through 8 going around in a clockwise circle. Then he discovered a very intriguing number system within this circle. Marco then knew he had stumbled upon something very profound. This circle with its hidden number sequence was a symbol of enlightenment. This is the mathematical fingerprint of God. Follow along as the amazing properties of this symbol unveil themselves to you. Put your pencil on the number 1. Now move your pencil in a straight line to number 2. Then in another straight line to number 4. Then across the center to 8. Notice that you are doubling. So next should be 16, and it is. But 1 plus 6 is 7. So move your pencil to 7. Then 16 doubled is 32. 3 plus 2 is 5. So move your pencil to 5. Then 32 doubled is 64. And 6 plus 4 equals 10. And 1 plus 0 equals 1. And then you're back to 1. So move the pencil across to the center and back up to 1. Notice the infinity symbol has formed underneath your pencil, creating an ever-repeating pattern of 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. This number sequence stays intact, as you have numbers as well. The powers of 10. As you replace the decimal numbers with their power, for example, 0.5 equals 10, 0.25 equals 100, 0.125 equals 1000. You will see that the powers line up horizontally. The number is on the left, horizontal addition result is on the right. Notice how the 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 number pattern repeats indefinitely. At this point, some of you might be thinking, what in the world do these number patterns have to do with the real-world applications? These number groupings piece together into a jigsaw-like puzzle pattern that perfectly demonstrates the way energy flows. Our base 10 decimal system is not man-made, rather is created by this flow of energy. Amazingly, after 20 years of working with this symbol and collaborating with engineers and scientists, Marco discovered that the 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 was a doubling circuit for a very efficient electrical coil, but yet there was still one more very important number pattern to be realized. On the mathematical fingerprint of God, notice how the 3, 9, and 6 is in red and does not connect at the base. This is because it is a vector. The 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 is the third dimension, while the oscillation between the 3 and 6 demonstrates the fourth dimension, which is the higher dimensional magnetic field of an electrical coil. The 3, 9, and 6 always occur together, with 9 as the control. In fact, the yin and yang is not a duality, but rather a trinity. This is because the 3 and the 6 represent each side of the yin and the yang, and the 9 is the S-curve between them. Everything is based on thirds. We think that the universe is based on dualities, because we see the effects and not the cause. When I say the oscillation between a 3 and a 6, what I mean is that 3 doubled is 6, and 6 doubled is 12, but 1 plus 2 equals 3, and then 12 doubled is 24, but 2 plus 4 equals 6, and 24 doubled is 48, so 4 plus 8 equals 12, and 1 plus 2 equals 3. So the 3 and the 6 go back and forth in their own separate dimension. This creates the other important pattern of 3, 9, 6, 6, 9, 3, 3, 9. Now lay out the number patterns on the 2D grid. Now place the 3, 9, 6, 6, 9, 3, 3, 9 number pattern in the center of the 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 number pattern going forward, and the 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 number pattern going backwards. So that would be 5, 7, 8, 4, 2, 1. This continuation creates an amazingly perfect number map. The mathematical fingerprint of God is a legend or blueprint for the torus and can be visualized in a 2D form as seen on the screen. This 2D number map forms the 3D skin of the torus and thus demonstrates the concept of the winding of the coil. And the 9 demonstrates the omnidimension, which is the higher dimensional flux emanating, called spirit, that always occurs within the center of the magnetic field lines. The last number left to be explained from the mathematical fingerprint of God is the number 9. The number 9 is energy being manifested in a single moment event of occurrence in our physical world of creation. It is unique because it is the focal center by being the only number identifying with the vertical upright axis. It is the singularity, or the primal point of unity. The number 9 never changes and is linear. For example, all multiples of 9 equal 9. 9 times 1 equals 9. 9 times 2 equals 18. But 1 plus 8 equals 9. 9 times 3 equals 27. But 2 plus 7 equals 9. This is because it is emanating in a straight line from the center of mass, out of the nucleus of every atom, and from out of the singularity of a black hole. It is complete, revealing perfection, and has no parity, because it always equals itself. The number 9 is the missing particle in the universe, known as dark matter. The number 9 lines up with the center of the infinity symbol, and it is from the center that the linear emanations we call spirit emanate from the center of mass outwards. Spirit is the only thing in the universe that moves in a straight line. Spirit is the inertia, ether, that Einstein postulated. Spirit is what makes everything else warp and curve around it. The perfect number patterns are actually created by this spirit energy. Without spirit, the universe would become destitute and void. Spirit flow is the source of all movements, as well as the source of the non-decaying spin of the electron. Numbers have temporal, spatial, and volumetric qualities. For example, physics is the base 10 number system. In other words, numbers have bilateral or mirror symmetry and line up in stratified layers of horizontal planes. This is the same as physics parity. There are 9 simple multiplication series, one series for each discrete number, 1 through 9, in vortex-based mathematics. These multiplication series are based upon reducing all products to single digits via horizontal addition, forming meaningful number sequences. There are 3 polar pairs, 1 and 8, 2 and 7, 4 and 5. For example, multiples of 4 are 1 times 4 equals 4, 2 times 4 equals 8, 3 times 4 equals 12, but 1 plus 2 equals 3. 4 times 4 equals 16, but 1 plus 6 equals 7. 5 times 4 equals 20, but 2 plus 0 equals 2. 6 times 4 equals 24, but 2 plus 4 equals 6. 7 times 4 equals 28, but 2 plus 8 equals 10. And 1 plus 0 equals 1. 8 times 4 equals 32, but 3 plus 2 equals 5. 9 times 4 equals 36, but 3 plus 6 equals 9. So multiples of 4 equal 4, 8, 3, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5. And multiples of 5, the polar opposite of 4, are 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, 4. Each pair forms number sequences that are identical but in opposing directions. So if you take the multiples of 5 and look at them running backwards, they are the same as the multiples of 4 running forward. In exactly the same way, the multiplication series for the polar pair 1 and 8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, for the number 1 and the number 8 respectively. The multiplication series for the polar pair 2 and 7 is 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 7, 5, 3, 1, 8, 6, 4, 2. Everything is starting from the center outwards, from the singularity. Nature is expressing herself with numbers. The symmetry of our decimal system is a principle of nature. The 9-axis causes the doubling circuit, and it is the point towards which matter converges, and away from which it diverges, or expands. Thus the polar pairs will be mirror images of each other, both flowing in opposite directions, from the central axis. There is perfect symmetry wrapped around a single point coiling outwards, the same way that petals are wrapped around a rose, or a nautilus shell spirals outwards.